On November 10, 2023, in Palmdale at 6:32 a.m., America's secret bomber finally emerged, watched by 58 engineers who had spent years on what the Pentagon called the sixth generation of stealth. Its first flight would finally test whether $203 billion and a decade of classified promises delivered something that could outsmart Russian S-500s or Chinese radar walls. This was just the proving flight. What happened next would answer whether the future of air warfare had changed for good. At 6:32 a.m., the B-21 rolled from Hangar 1, its composite skin reflecting the first hints of light over Palmdale. 58 engineers tracked every movement, logging data as the aircraft began its measured taxi toward runway 22. The speed never exceeded 14 miles per hour. Each rotation of the landing gear, each vibration through the airframe, was recorded by telemetry systems designed to capture the smallest deviation from expected performance. At 6:51 a.m., the nose lifted free of the tarmac. The Raider climbed at a shallow angle, holding below 5,000 feet for the first 8 minutes. This was no show of force. It was a discipline test, with every input compared in real time to digital models built over years of simulation. The flight profile called for gradual acceleration, never pushing the aircraft beyond what the computers had already predicted. At 7:20 a.m., the B-21 reached its maximum test altitude of 15,000 feet. Throughout the climb, engineers monitored control surface response, fuel flow, and environmental systems, searching for any sign of unmodeled behavior. The aircraft banked through gentle turns, its elevons adjusting with almost invisible movements. No vertical stabilizers, no rudders, just continuous curves and software-driven precision. Telemetry confirmed stable handling at every waypoint. By 8:08 a.m., the B-21 lined up for landing. Touchdown came at approximately 140 miles per hour, and the rollout measured at under 4,000 feet. As the aircraft taxied clear, post-flight checks began immediately. The data told a simple story. The aircraft had been in the air for 1 hour and 17 minutes, with every key system performing as designed and with no anomalies to report. For the engineers, numbers on a screen confirmed what years of modeling had promised. The B-21's silhouette tells the story of its purpose, a wingspan stretching close to 170 feet, yet a length of just over 50 feet, forms a flattened diamond with no tail fins and no protruding surfaces to betray its presence to radar. Every curve and edge on the airframe was shaped by the mathematics of reflection and absorption for stealth. Composite materials, layered and bonded with precision, create a seamless surface that scatters electromagnetic waves instead of reflecting them back. The trailing edge of the wing conceals elevons, control surfaces that blend the work of elevators and ailerons into a single, uninterrupted motion. Instead of traditional rudders or vertical stabilizers, the B-21 relies on software and geometry. The result is a bomber that handles with quiet authority, making gentle corrections invisible to the eye and nearly undetectable to sensors. Inside, the cockpit sits lower in the fuselage than any previous bomber. This decision, driven by stealth, also changes how pilots interact with the aircraft. The crew, 2 pilots with more than 3,000 hours each in strategic bombers, trained for a year and a half in simulators, learning to trust digital displays and haptic feedback where traditional sightlines are limited. Their seats are integrated into the structure, reducing the radar signature even further and making the human element part of the stealth equation. During the first flight, every control input was measured not just for safety, but for how it affected the aircraft's profile on enemy radar. The pilot's discipline matched the engineering, smooth, deliberate, always aware that each movement had consequences beyond the cockpit. In the B-21, crew and airframe operate as a single system. Design and training fuse to keep the bomber invisible where it matters most. Engineers studying the B-21's propulsion system found clues in the way its exhaust blended, almost invisibly, with the air behind it. Defense analysts pointed to the twin engine intakes and the muted signature of the exhaust, suggesting a pair of Pratt & Whitney turbofans likely derived from the F135 family. These engines, though officially classified, are built for more than thrust. They are engineered for stealth. Every component is shaped and shielded to minimize both radar and infrared detection. a lesson learned from the B-2's visible heat plumes. The result is a bomber with significantly improved thermal management, reducing its infrared profile well beyond what previous generations could achieve. Performance estimates put the B-21's unrefueled range at approximately 6,000 miles, with aerial refueling pushing that number to nearly 11,000 miles. This reach allows mission planners to consider targets across continents without exposing the aircraft to forward-deployed threats. The internal weapons bay, designed for flexibility, can carry up to 30,000 pounds of ordnance. The loadout options span from precision-guided JDAMs to the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles, and when required, nuclear payloads like the B-21 12 gravity bomb or the long-range standoff weapon. This adaptability means the B-21 can launch deep penetration strikes, bunker-busting missions, or strategic nuclear deterrence, all without reconfiguration delays. Every element of the B-21's power plant and payload design serves a single purpose: to give commanders the freedom to strike anywhere on the globe with the right mix of weapons and return undetected. The B-21's range and flexibility are not just numbers on a chart, they are the foundation for global reach in an era when distance and defense networks no longer offer sanctuary. Sensors aboard the B-21 operate as more than just eyes and ears. They act as a real-time intelligence network. Each flight collects streams of radar and infrared data and instantly analyzes the electromagnetic landscape, mapping air defense positions as the aircraft moves. Instead of flying blind into hostile territory, the B-21 builds a live picture of threats, jamming signals, and even subtle shifts in enemy radar patterns. These sensor feeds do not stay inside the bomber. Secure data links share them across the joint force, allowing fighters, satellites, and command centers to respond to new information as it appears. In practice, a single radar can reveal the shape of an enemy's defenses, update targeting for allied aircraft, and send back reconnaissance, all before the first weapon leaves its bay. The way the B-21 is built makes this adaptability possible. Northrop Grumman's engineers rely on digital twin technology, creating a virtual version of each aircraft before a single part is manufactured. Every system, from sensor arrays to flight controls, is validated in simulation, catching flaws and testing upgrades in a digital environment. When changes are needed, software updates and modular hardware can be swapped in without halting production. On the factory floor at Air Force Plant 42, automated assembly lines use these digital blueprints to guide robots and technicians, reducing errors and keeping costs in check. This approach means the B-21 is not locked into the technology of its first flight. As threats evolve, new sensors, weapons, or networking tools can be added quickly, keeping the fleet relevant for decades. Engineers designed the Raider not just to survive today's missions, but to adapt to whatever tomorrow demands. Scaling the B-21 Raider from prototype to an operational fleet requires a level of financial commitment rarely seen in military aviation. The Air Force has set aside $203 billion for the program, covering research, development, production, and support through the 2040S. Each aircraft carries a target unit cost of $692 million in 2022 dollars, a figure shaped by lessons from the B-2's spiraling expenses. At least 100 Raiders are planned for procurement, with the first squadron reaching initial operational capability at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota by 2027 or 2028. Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri and Dyess Air Force Base in Texas are scheduled to follow as additional units roll off the production line. This roadmap reflects not just an investment in hardware, but a long-term strategy to anchor America's bomber force with a fleet designed for rapid upgrades and sustained relevance. Independent analysts have raised sharp questions about whether the B-21 can truly outpace the world's most advanced air defenses. Russia's S-400 and S-500 systems claim the ability to detect stealth aircraft at ranges beyond 370 miles, while China's sensor networks link ground radars, airborne warning planes, and fighter sensors into a single web. The B-2's record, just 60% of its fleet mission ready on average, casts a long shadow over sustainment promises. Key details about the B-21's radar cross-section and engines remain classified, leaving gaps in public confidence. Even with digital upgrades and modular design, the realities of basing and maintenance in a peer conflict remain open questions. For every leap in stealth, adversaries adapt. Whether this investment will truly deliver the edge America seeks is still uncertain. Today, the B-21 is not just a prototype. It is a BET on how wars will be deterred, not just fought. As rivals invest billions in air defense, America doubles down on stealth and adaptability. The future of deterrence now depends on whether that bet pays off. What do you think?